I don't watch TV during blackouts anymore. Not after what I saw. I live in an older neighborhood, the kind where streetlights flicker and the power grid gives up at the first hint of a storm. Rolling blackouts are normal here. Sometimes minutes, sometimes hours. The first time it happened, I remembered my uncle had left me a little battery-powered TV in the attic. Figured it'd be better than sitting in the dark. Most channels were just static, but then I found it. No number, no call sign, just a dim, grainy picture of a room. The light was so low I could barely make anything out, except a figure in the corner, sitting perfectly still, turned away from the camera. I thought maybe it was some strange public access project, but something about it felt wrong. I almost turned it off. The image was so dim I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. But then the figure twitched. Not a full movement, just a slight jerk, like a puppet string being pulled too sharply. The rocking chair in the corner swayed once, then stopped. I felt a chill creep up my spine, like cold fingers dragging along my skin. My heart started pounding, but I couldn't look away. It was like something was calling me to watch, even though every instinct screamed to shut it off. Then the picture distorted. The static crackled into jagged black lines that split the image, and for a split second the screen went completely white. In that brief flash, I thought I saw something. Someone standing right in front of the camera. Too close, like their face should have filled the screen, but I couldn't make out any features. When the picture snapped back, the figure was exactly where it had been before, still turned away, completely still, but my pulse was racing, and I knew deep down that I wasn't imagining what I'd just seen. 3 nights later, another blackout, and I was terrified, but I had to check. Was it just my imagination? A dream, maybe? So I tried the TV again. Same room, same figure, only now it was a little closer. Not much, just a few feet, but enough to make out its shoulders. Too narrow, unnatural. My heart dropped. My mouth became instantly dry. That's when I heard it, a sound under the static, not words. A slow, almost tuneless melody hummed just loud enough to hear. It felt familiar, somehow. The blackouts kept coming every time the figure was closer, and the room, it started to look familiar too. Peeling wallpaper, a crooked lamp, a rocking chair swaying on its own. One night, I realized why. It was my living room, or an abandoned, rotting version of it. After that night, I couldn't stop thinking about the channel. Every time the power blinked or the sky darkened with clouds, my chest tightened with a familiar, cold dread. I started keeping flashlights and candles within arm's reach, even during the day, just in case. I told myself it was just anxiety, stress, maybe even sleep deprivation, but it felt different, deeper. Sometimes, when the blackout didn't come, I'd catch myself staring at the battery-powered TV, half expecting the channel to appear on its own. The thought made my skin crawl. The tune that hummed beneath the static was stuck in my head, looping over and over, like a song I couldn't remember learning. It nagged at something buried inside me, like a memory just out of reach, or a warning. I couldn't quite hear, and the figure, that impossible figure, I began to feel it watching me, even when the screen was off. In the quiet moments before sleep, I'd see shadows flicker at the edges of my vision. I'd hear the faintest creak of a rocking chair, even though I live alone. The feeling was overwhelming, like being caught between two worlds. And that room, it felt familiar. Not just because it looked like my living room, but because it whispered secrets I couldn't understand. Like a place I'd been before or might be going to. Then came the first coincidence. One blackout, I noticed the figure was wearing something, a dark red shirt with a faded lighthouse on the front. I'd never owned anything like it until last week. My girlfriend gave me one, said she found it at a thrift store and thought it looked like me. The moment I saw it, my stomach dropped. I knew where I'd seen it before. I couldn't stop thinking about that shirt. The one the figure wore on the channel. The one my girlfriend gave me. Every time I held it in my hands, it felt heavier than it should, as if it carried the weight of something unseen. The fabric was rough and worn, like aged canvas, coarse to the touch, with tiny snags and loose threads hinting at years of use. The faded lighthouse printed on the front was barely raised now, but I could still feel the subtle texture beneath my fingertips, a faint ridge where the ink had cracked and peeled. Tracing its outline sent a strange shiver down my spine, like I was touching a secret that wasn't mine to know. I'd catch myself staring at it long after I should have put it away, tracing the faded lighthouse with my fingertips, feeling a chill run down my spine. I was mesmerized, almost hypnotized, wondering why something so ordinary could feel so wrong. At night, the shirt smelled faintly of something I couldn't place. Old wood, sea salt, something distant and haunting. It was as if the shirt carried memories I wasn't meant to know. I started to wonder if the figure on the channel was more than just some shadow on a screen. Was it me? Was it who I was becoming? I was terrified, and yet part of me couldn't look away. One night, I woke up to the faint sound of humming, the same slow, tuneless melody from the channel. I sat up, heart pounding, but the room was silent. Still the song lingered in my head, like a thread pulling me closer, weaving itself into the very fabric of my thoughts, like a thin, unbreakable thread tugging relentlessly at the edges of my mind. It wasn't just sound, it was a vibration, low and constant, like the hum of a faraway engine that you can't locate, but can't ignore. Sometimes it felt as if the melody was crawling beneath my skin, a faint buzzing at the base of my skull that sent tiny shivers down my spine. Other times, it was more like a whispered pulse, syncing with my heartbeat, soft, uneven, and disturbingly familiar. No matter how hard I tried to focus on anything else, that haunting tunelessness circled back, curling around my thoughts like smoke, growing heavier the longer I resisted. It pulled at me, patient, insistent, like a voice just out of reach, promising things I wasn't ready to hear, but couldn't stop wanting. And sometimes, when I closed my eyes, I saw that dim room, felt the weight of the silence pressing down on me. I began noticing little things in the house that weren't quite right. a shadow lingering too long in the corner of my eye, the rocking chair creaking softly, even when no one was near it. And then there was the shirt. I found myself touching the fabric more than I should, almost hoping it would tell me what was coming next. The shirt was a warning, or a promise. I wasn't sure which. After that, I really started paying attention. Another blackout. The figure was halfway to the camera, the light catching a silver necklace with an oval pendant. 2 days later, my girlfriend came over wearing the same one. When she took it off and set it on my coffee table, I swear my hands trembled. I didn't know if I wanted to hold it or throw it away, and forgot to take it when she left. After my girlfriend left, I sat there staring at the necklace on the coffee table. My hands shook, and I couldn't decide whether to pick it up or run away from it. That night, I barely slept. Every sound in the apartment seemed amplified: the creak of the floorboards, the whisper of the wind outside. When I finally closed my eyes, the humming started again. Soft, distant, but impossible to ignore. I became obsessed. I had to know. Before the next blackout, I stripped the peeling wallpaper from my living room wall and replaced it with a fresh white design, something I'd never seen on that channel before. When the power went out, I turned on the TV. Same room. Same rocking chair. Same figure, now only a few feet from the lens. And behind it, my new wallpaper. That song. It's there every time, under the static. I used to think it was random noise, but lately, I've been humming it, without meaning to, in the shower, at work, right now actually. That's when the changes started. At first it was subtle. In the bathroom mirror, I caught myself looking different, thinner, my shoulders narrower, too narrow, like the figures. For a moment I froze, staring hard at my reflection, as if trying to will it back to normal. But the eyes looking back weren't quite mine. They caught the light differently, darker, colder, somehow hollow. A shiver ran down my spine. Was this really me, or was I seeing something else? I blinked, hoping the shadows in the glass would fade, but they didn't. The image felt wrong, like a cracked version of myself. Familiar but twisted. I touched my face, half expecting to feel the smooth skin I knew. Instead, it felt fragile, distant, like I was becoming a stranger in my own body. The reflection whispered, a silent warning I couldn't ignore. How is this happening? The question hung in the air, heavy and unanswered. Panic bubbled up, but beneath it was something darker, an unsettling pull, like the mirror was showing me a glimpse of something inevitable, something I couldn't fight. Faint echoes of that tuneless melody in my ears, even when there was silence. I thought it was stress, until one morning on the bus, I glanced out the window and saw not the street, but that room, faintly reflected in the glass. I told myself it was a trick of the light, until I started seeing it everywhere. In shop windows, in the warped convex security mirror at the gas station. Always the same room. Always with the figure standing where I should be. The song was the worst. It got stuck in my head. At first I thought I was just remembering it, but sometimes I'd realize I was humming it out loud, even in my sleep. My girlfriend told me she woke up to me sitting upright, swaying slightly, humming that awful, broken melody in the dark. The dreams came next. Not nightmares exactly, at least not while I was dreaming. In them, I was standing in the room from the channel, only now I was facing the camera. The air was heavy. My head felt too heavy to lift. I couldn't move, except to slowly take a step forward, closer to the lens. Every night, I'd get closer, and every blackout, the figure on the TV was closer too. One dream stayed with me more than any other. I found myself standing in that dim room from the channel, the one that used to have the peeling wallpaper, the one with my new white wallpaper, and the rocking chair gently rocking on its own. But this time, something was different. I wasn't just standing there facing the camera. I wasn't alone. In the corner, sitting silently in the rocking chair, was the other me, the figure from the channel. I could see myself through a haze, as if I were looking through a fogged-up window. I wanted to move, to call out, but my body felt heavy, like I was trapped beneath the surface of something cold and thick. And then, slowly, my gaze dropped to my hands. They weren't my hands. They were pale, thin, almost translucent, fingertips brushing against something hard and cold. A knife handle. I tried to drop it, but my fingers tightened around it without my permission. Before I knew it, a smile spread across my face. A smile that didn't belong to me. It was slow and cruel, like a shadow stretching over my soul. I raised the knife with trembling arms. The cold steel pressed against my cheek, just below my eye. A sharp sting blossomed as the blade sliced down my skin. The pain was real, searing and sharp, but the smile stayed. That smile whispered secrets I didn't want to hear, feelings I didn't want to feel. The room pulsed around me, heavy with silence and something darker. And then I woke up. My sheets were soaked in blood. I reached up, trembling, and my fingers brushed a fresh cut running down the side of my face. I hadn't done it. It was a dream. Or at least, I thought it was a dream. Last night we had another blackout. I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't need to, because from the living room I heard the soft creak of the rocking chair and that humming, matching mine. If the lights go out tonight, I already know what I'll see when I turn around.